I'll be back in Reviews from the Heart, and today we got a second generation 2011 Porsche Cayenne S. It's packing a 4.8 liter naturally aspirated V8 pushing 400 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to an 8-speed automatic along with all-wheel drive. This SUV is actually deceivingly pretty large. It has a towing capacity of 7,716 pounds with its own curb weight of 4,800 pounds. So it's really, it looks small and it looks kind of compact, but honestly, the curves and the looks and the design of this vehicle, exterior-wise and interior-wise, is deceiving yet pleasurable to the eye. I think this is a very fantastic-looking vehicle. I think it offers many things. As you can see, I'm sitting in the power tailgate, and this is clearly a large vehicle. It weighs a good amount, but I'm kind of worried on whether or not the all-wheel drive will be able to alleviate some of its weight and make it feel a little bit sporty. This is my first Porsche review, and I'm loving it so far. This is the quality that I want to see, and this is what is expected. I mean, this is nearly a $90,000 vehicle. Base price starting is $64,000, but with options you can definitely see yourself in the neighborhood of $80,000, which is pretty insane considering that's a nearly $16,000 price increase when it comes to optioning up this vehicle. But what's amazing about this vehicle is that, like I said, it's packing a 4.8 liter naturally aspirated V8. So, remember, a naturally aspirated V8 pushing 400 horsepower. So this is going to be pretty cool and pretty unique to drive in the sense that, you know, a lot of Porsche's engines have become forced induction, and obviously, as I'm going to keep on reiterating, this is the naturally aspirated 4.8 liter V8. With that in mind, the interior of this vehicle is lovely. Everything about this vehicle speaks quality. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys on the inside and tell you a little bit more about what this Porsche Cayenne offers, because on the used market right now, it's a pretty hard bargain to pass up. On the used market, it's going anywhere between $22,000 to about $28,000, depending obviously on the year and mileage, etc. And this vehicle available right here at Carlix is going for about $23,000, which when you look inside this vehicle, and I'll show you everything that this vehicle has, you're going to be thinking to yourself, maybe I should start looking at something like this, because one, it's naturally aspirated, which means there's less problems, less things to deal with. There's no turbochargers, no coolant leaks or anything like that that would be extremely pervasive and annoying, like in how it can be in some turbo vehicles. It has 8-speed automatic. It has a towing capacity of almost ridiculous. I mean, almost 8,000 pounds this thing can apparently tow, which is insane. I mean, I don't know how many people really use their Cayennes to tow, but I mean, it is an option. So let's go ahead and jump on inside and let me show you what this bad boy's all about. Let's go ahead and get it. Let's go ahead and see what this bad boy's packing with this nice V8 and this whole Porsche right here. Woo! Well, what can I say? This is my first Porsche review, my first Porsche that I've ever really been in, and I can say I'm pretty much blown away. This is what I expect. This is what I want to see. This is luxury personified. I mean, you got double cross stitching over here on the dash, leather on the dash. So, you know, for the people that always ask me, like, why am I always talking about leather on the dash? It's because leather on the dash is amazing. It's lovely. It's actual leather, people. It's not just faux leather. It's not fake stitching. It's not trying to imply that it's leather. There's no fakeness in here. Everything, everywhere you touch, is either leather or literally, I mean, just look around. It's pretty much leather everywhere, people. I can't make this up. I really can't find any really much use of soft touch plastics other than on like buttons and like, you know, certain knobs. Even then, it feels a little bit weighty. You know, it feels like the button itself, it has kind of like a rubberized texture to it, so that feels nice. There's not many things except, actually, I found my first negative. What kind of sunroof is this? Like, what? Why is it so small? It's only for the, I mean, hey, if that's your only negative in a car is a small sunroof, I think you're going in the right direction. Honestly, the layout over here, it does seem a little bit confusing. It's a little clustered. It's a little clustered up, a little too many buttons in one place for my taste. I mean, look, we got a lot of buttons in one central area, and this is also touchscreen as well, people, by the way. So, you know, we just do a little confirm right there. Let's see how responsive it is. So it's, you know, like, remember, this is a 2011. It's reasonably responsive. You know, it's, I'm not expecting it to be blazing fast. I mean, even back then in 2011, the computers in general were extremely slow. So I'm surprised that it even has a good, nice tactile feedback with it. But overall, you know, it's a classic Porsche gauge layout with the RPMs right in the middle. You know, and then you got your speedometer over here on the left. Like I said, RPMs right in the middle. And let's see right here. Okay, that's like your infotainment screen. Then you got your like your oil gauge. And over here to the left with what looks like oil gauge and water temperature. You know, and oh sorry, oil pressure and oil temperature, and then water temperature over here to the right with your gas gauge. So with that being said, honestly, this interior is lovely. I really want to see how this Porsche drives. You know, people always talk about Porsche and how well they drive and how they handle and things of that nature. I'm extremely curious as to how this Porsche drives. I'm ecstatic about the interior. The interior is, I mean, obviously the color is a little how should I say, an acquired taste. I don't really mind it. Like I said, I do enjoy something a little bit different, but if I had a choice, obviously it would be more like a red interior, or maybe like a brown or a cinnamon, you know, something like that, something that's not hard to dirty or scuff up, because something as light as this, because it's kind of like vanilla wafer beige type interior, can be pretty hard to muff up. But this vehicle has 95,000 miles, but it's been well taken care of. As you can see, there's hardly any nicks or scratches or anything like that, and I think that's a testament of quality to both what the vehicles that Carlix chooses, as well as, you know, the quality of Porsche interiors. Like I said, this is nearly 8-9 years old. You know, it's not too far from being 10 years old. And when you think about that, this vehicle on average has only been driving, you know, like 13,000 miles a year, 14,000 miles a year. And that's lower than average, to be perfectly honest. Like, this is clean. This is a lovely interior. The seats are comfortable. There's ample space. Like, this car is really deceiving because it looks small, but there's so much space in here. The space in the back is ample. I feel like any person of any size could fit in here. I mean, everywhere I look, I feel as if there's ample space for me to move around and do anything, whether I was taller, heavier, or wider, or anything of that nature. I feel like if you can't fit in here, you probably have more pressing issues to attend to, because like I said, there is ample space in here to do anything that one would want to do. And the cabin space in general is just, it feels nice, it feels driver centric, and to me it feels like as if it caters to the driver as opposed to, you know, the other occupants as well. It does a good job of doing both without sacrificing too much of the other. Again, and I attribute that to the fact, like I said, the gauge for the RPMs is right in the middle, so that obviously is a much more engaging aspect right then and there, is the fact that when you're driving, you have the RPMs right in the middle, right in front of you. That is the main important thing when it comes to driving, because again, this is a naturally aspirated 4.8 liter V8 pushing 400 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. So with that being said, let me see what else I can talk about in here. Oh, ooh, I didn't even really notice this. Black seat belts, you know, that kind of does I guess it's not really too out there, but that's a nice little difference in tone, a little offset of the vanilla type interior that we're in. But overall, these seats are extremely comfortable. I'm sitting in bliss right now. I'm really enjoying this interior, and like I said, it's mind-boggling to me in the sense that I don't understand how this car can look just decently large outside. Like, it doesn't look like a large vehicle to me. The lines is deceiving to the eyes. It doesn't look like an overly large vehicle, but yet there's so much space in here, and it has an extremely large trunk. Like, I don't understand why it looks not that large, at least to me personally. This doesn't look like an extremely large truck, but yet it can fit so much. The trunk is huge. There's enough space back there. This is a lovely family hauler. This is your Beverly Hills family hauler. And for any of my hood people, the older generation, you know, like the first generation, like, you know, your 2003s, so like your 2006 Cayennes. When you want to be bougie, you know, you like anywhere between those years Cayenne, and you be pushing the hood, and yeah, you know, you rolling in something nice. But this one by far, because I've seen the first generation Cayennes, this one, the second generation blows the first generation out of the water. It just looks better. The lines is a way better. The interior is a better quality to me, although the layout is very similar. Porsche went more revolutionary instead of evolutionary in terms of the design aesthetics for the interior, in my opinion. But they definitely changed up completely the exterior, and it looks just like a far better vehicle to me, in my opinion. And this is actually the first year, I believe, that of the second generation. So this was the first model, the first year, the first everything for this second generation Cayenne, and this is, man, they knocked it out the park with this interior. So I'm dying to drive this vehicle. I'm dying to know what it feels like, because I want to see how this 8-speed automatic transmission, I want to see, you know, if a Porsche is a Porsche regardless of what model it is. And I think it'll be pretty cool to see what it's like, because the steering feels pretty nice and weighted. I can definitely tell, you know, what direction the wheels are positioned according to the steering wheel and my hand movements. It's not super weighted. Remember, this is still more of a comfort first sort of oriented vehicle, in my opinion, but it's giving me enough feedback, and in an SUV, that's a lot in and of itself, because just like when I did the let's see what. Well, I can tell you right now, it definitely has given me more feedback than the Audi A7 review that I did, even though Audi and Porsche are both owned by Volkswagen Auto Group, so hey. So which is what I think is pretty funny. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, I see you. But let's go ahead and jump in the driving portion and see what this bad boy is all about, because I am dying to drive this car. So let's go ahead and check it out. And we got Superman Rob about to hang out in here, so let's go ahead and get it. So what's this like driving a shut up. So what's it like driving a 2011 Porsche Cayenne S? Well, it's all-wheel drive. That's Superman Rob sitting on the shotgun. I'm getting used to the paddles. The paddles, you can shift upshift or downshift on either side depending on what direction you push the paddle. It's not really a paddle, it's more like a thumb flick. But okay, I kind of got the hang of it now. So I'm in first gear, and I'm about to give you guys a little pull right here. See how what this 400 horsepower is packing. You know, for a car that weighs 4,800 pounds, this moves. Wouldn't you agree? Remember, this weighs almost 5,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Like it's not like ridiculous speed
compared to the X5. I think the X5 was a little bit quicker.
It may have felt like, because remember that was X Drive and this is X Drive 2.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a Porsche regardless. I love Porsche.
See, it's like, remember, this is a naturally aspirated engine. The X5 was a turbo. So you need to ring this out a little bit to get to the horsepower. Which, because I definitely felt like once I got to like,
it's actually, no.
Because like once I get to 5,000 RPMs, you felt that a little bit more thrust, right?
Yeah, it's better than the freaking ML.
Yeah, the ML felt, it's kind of crazy. I'm surprised I was still 300 horsepower, because that did not feel like 300 horsepower. That felt like it was
200. It was 200.
And this vehicle weighs the same as that. Basically.
Really?
The ML,
get this
the ML was about 4,600 pounds. And this is all-wheel drive and it weighs 4,800. And it has a towing capacity of 7,716 pounds. So. But one thing I am disappointed in, the transmission. That I'm honestly kind of surprised, because I thought Porsche, obviously this is a PDK, but I thought everything with Porsche would just be amazing.
You gotta get like the package. You gotta get the GTS whatever.
That is true too, but remember this is still an 8-speed automatic, so I don't know for sure, but I assume this is a ZF 8-speed. And like I said, it doesn't really matter kind of what transmission it is, because the transmissions usually in most cars are generally all the same for the most part, at least the German cars. But what the difference is in what sort of tuning, the transmission tune, and what software is used by, you know, obviously the automaker. So just because two cars can have a Z8 automatic, the ZF 8-speed automatic, doesn't mean they're both gonna shift the same if they're two different cars. Which is pretty crazy when you think about it, because you would expect a little bit, you expect them to act the same, but that's not the case. And the reason why I say that's because, yes, it's a 428i, but that 8-speed, ZF 8-speed automatic in that 4 Series shifted blazingly fast, way faster than this in the upshifts, which is kind of sad, because like I said, for me, in my opinion, that transmission made that car. It was slow. I mean, they had a little spunk to it. It wasn't fast, but that transmission made it feel more fun to me.
Wait, did you put it on sport mode?
Actually no. I didn't. Well, now I'm in sport mode, but I didn't think it was gonna make that much of a difference. But let me see. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference in that. It makes it makes a difference in the throttle response. So the throttle response is definitely
no, because
more.
remember yesterday,
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah, when we did the BMW.
Yeah, we put it in sport mode and changed it completely.
Yeah, you were like talking about come from my man. It's like as soon as you put it on, oh man, you were praising the hell out of it. I'm like, bro.
It still wasn't E90 steering, but it made it far better than Econobox type boring type driving. So it made it significantly better, but it still wasn't BMW to me. It was just okay. But compared, like I said, it's relatively speaking, because compared to where it was before, it was miles better than in comfort. But compared to BMW, it still didn't hit the mark, but it's serviceable. Like, I can understand why and how it could appeal to the average person. See, and we got a new Panamera there too. Yeah, we just rolling in the Cayenne S, so, you know, just dumped on us peasants. But you know, once I did a little bit of trading, obviously we're in LA, we're in traffic, and yes, I'm gonna keep it in sport mode. I'm gonna see if it's just a throttle response that changes while in sport mode, or if the transmission shifts faster as well. But I mean, it could be within the tuning as well, where depending on what throttle you're giving it, it could shift differently when at wide open throttle, which is what some cars do to preserve the transmission. But in comparison, the 420 that I did yesterday, whether I was going fast or not, as long as I was in Sport Plus mode, that transmission was shifting fast. So, but that's really the only negative I can think so far right now. Like, this is, like, Robert, when you look at this vehicle exterior wise, do you think it's a large vehicle? Like, does it look like a huge truck? Not really, right? Like, it looks kind of compact. Honestly, it looks similar to the Macan, which is supposed to be the smaller one of this, which is supposed to be like the Q5. This is supposed to be, not necessarily a Q7, but this is more like an X5, you know, in terms of size and what it competes with. The Q5,
it's a good size though.
Yeah, this is like the perfect size. It's not too big, it's not too small. We're riding in comfort. We have the AC on right now, which we're booling.
Sure.
But there's ample space in the back too, and it has a huge trunk. Like, I don't feel claustrophobic. I don't feel anywhere in here in which I'd feel like as if, wow, okay, maybe they skimped out, or it feels a little bit too small in here, or anything of that nature.
Yeah, maybe that's why they didn't really change that much in the like exterior wise.
Because the exterior looks really good to me, in my opinion. Like, I love the exterior especially compared to the first generation. Let's see, we're gonna come up on a little straightaway here. I'm gonna see what it's like to see if the transmission behaves a little bit differently. Nah, it doesn't behave differently. The transmission doesn't, but the throttle response is definitely improved. It's definitely more sensitive. But like I said, it's a little disappointing to me, to be honest, because I don't know, like I said, I guess it comes back to like the whole A7 debacle with what we did. Just a little bit too high expectations for what it's supposed to offer, you know? Like the A7 is the A7, it's not the S7, it's not the RS7. Was it still a good vehicle? Yeah, but I guess it's kind of like meeting a childhood hero. And when you meet them, they're not necessarily you realize that they're just humans, just like you. No one's perfect and nothing is really perfect. I mean, even the most perfect car in some people's eyes still has some sort of negative. I mean, I'm pretty sure the most perfect car would probably cost an arm and a leg and your firstborn and your kidneys. So that's still a negative. Even if it's the perfect car, it still costs something. It costs something. I think perfection is really trying to chase the closest you can do, at least when it comes to consumables. You know, a car is technically a consumable, because you don't really keep a car forever. It's gonna die. Gotta replace some things.
Why are you gonna be so cold?
But you know, with that being said, before I go off on more of a tangent, I do really like this truck though. The steering isn't necessarily what I would personally want, but it's enough. Like, I feel like anybody would be okay and satisfied with this steering. It's not That's not what I would assume, you know, to be regular Porsche steering, but it's good. It's definitely good enough. And like I said, this transmission is really the only thing that is of note to me that would be, like I said, it's not a bad transmission, but I guess I was spoiled in a sense that literally just yesterday I drove the ZF 8-speed automatic in that 428i, and I'm still mind-boggled as to why and how that transmission shifted so fast. Like, Robert, even you in the passenger seat, you can tell that this transmission is not shifting as fast as that BMW was, right?
It's like 2 seconds lag.
Yeah, it's
0.5.
like
because the BMW was like
it literally is. My finger wouldn't even release the paddle. At the moment it clicked, it shifted. This, you can tell there's a delay. Is it enough to where it's like, ew, it's not fun? No, because it's two different vehicles, you know.
Yeah,
you can't really compare it. But like I said, my mindset on it was, okay, this is a Porsche. I expect Porsche in everything. And you know, I guess, well, obviously I just wasn't correct in that mind frame. But like I said, all really Sport does feel to me is just, you know, make the throttle a little bit more twitchy. It's I don't like that. I like linear throttle. I don't like pushing 20% down on the throttle and it feels like the car wants to go 100 miles an hour. It's not really a good feeling thing. But see, I can definitely understand now why, apart from efficiency reasons, why people go turbos, especially in a vehicle that weighs this much. This engine has to be revved out pretty high for you to feel any sort of thrust. Like when you're cruising around, you really have to be in a high gear, because like, let's see, now we're in a high gear and you felt that. But there's no low end. There's no low end to this naturally aspirated V8. But when you're in the right gear and you're at the right RPMs, you definitely feel it. But that RPM is like 5,000, 6,000 RPMs. You're not living in that RPM range on the street. You're just not. And you know, that's why I feel like BMW offers a lot in the sense that, well, I mean, even Porsche does too, but when they're turbo vehicles. But when it comes to that lower end torque where you're making, not necessarily an impulsive, but you want to make a quick maneuver, you don't need to worry about being in the right gear too much, because you get that low end torque. In here, you don't get that. It's still good. I still like it, you know, but it's a completely different driving experience. It's not comparable at all. It feels, they're not one and the same whatsoever. One's a turbo vehicle, one's a naturally aspirated engine that needs to, you know, hit its power band, and it doesn't really offer much on the low end. You're moving in the low end, but you don't, obviously, as you guys may have seen just now, when I shifted down to second gear and let the RPMs hang out before I hit the throttle, you felt that little jerk, you know, you felt that. But before that, it was just kind of like, okay, well, and then it builds up. That's a naturally aspirated feeling, a naturally aspirated torque curve, and that's amazing for track, you know, because you're paying attention to what gear you're in, you know what you want to do, things like that. But for traffic, LA, making that sudden lane change or whatever, not the most ideal thing. But it's not, like I said, it's not the worst thing either. But like I said, I do love this vehicle, but the major hang up to me is the transmission. It does shift pretty slow, I'm not gonna lie. Or at least the response from the paddles is very slow. Let me see if I put it into regular, see if it just let the transmission shift on itself. Did it feel like it shifts a little bit faster? Or maybe it's because I'm not, you know, I'm depending on it to do it and I'm not thinking about it, huh? It's hard to say, to be honest. But like I said,
I mean, automatic is supposed to be shifting. It's supposed to shift faster, like a slight half a second faster, I think.
Yeah, I feel like this it's and again, there's nothing mechanically wrong with this truck. This is a lovely,
inside and out.
Exactly, like there's hardly any abrasions, there's no nicks, there's no scuffs, there's no anything in this truck. It's really a lovely vehicle. This is a lovely spec. You know, like again, as aforementioned, it is a little how should I say, an acquired taste with the color of the interior, but it's still good. And you know, like I said, after driving this, for an SUV, it offers a lot. It really does. It feels really good. It's comfortable. The road imperfections are barely felt in the cabin. It rides really well. I'm really comfortable in here. How are you feeling, Robert? Like, how do you think it rides? No. Like, this is probably the best riding SUV we've done, right? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure if it has, you know, like some sort of air suspension or what's being done, but I know it has a locking diff. Yeah. You can technically take this off-roading, which is crazy.
Surprising.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I mean, compared this to the Range Rover, I would choose this over a Range Rover.
I think any sane person would choose Porsche over a Range Rover. Yeah. But you know, some people like to chase a Range Rover, but it's weird too because
good luck with the air suspension, buddy.
Because Porsche's Porsche too, though. Yeah. I mean,
but you got like consistently, you don't really get that much of a bad thing from Porsche. Like people that have Porsche love it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a daily.
Yeah, I think but then again, at the same time, that's why it's also so expensive. Yeah.
But, hey, you get what you pay for, right?
You do. But would you pay $90,000 for this, basically? You see, these tone changes a little bit when you realize how expensive this car can be when we're at you.
Yeah, like what the hell can I give for 90, man? $30,000 more, and I'll probably get something I want. That's actually a great question.
Wow, my dude, like, were you even looking?
Like, I could get a Trackhawk for that price right now.
What does a Trackhawk drive like this? Feels like this?
Boy, with that 700 something horsepower, yeah.
I'm not talking about.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just talking about like cash price. You know how like back then this was like 90. Now it's like what? 20 something.
Nah, for this vehicle right now.
Yeah, I think it's
like 23.
Yeah.
Average price is only between like 22 to about 30,000 depending on the year and the mileage. Oh my god, man. I hate people. Yeah. But
no, I just hate dumb people that don't know how to do. Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
That's two. One in a bike and then the other one in a car. That's great.
But you know, it's all in good fun though, you know. Yeah.
True.
But you know, like I said, honestly, for the price of it being used, can you think of a better bargain?
No, it's pretty good. Honestly. Well kept. I mean, to be quite honest, excuse me. I don't normally like choose this color, but I actually like do like.
It's kind of growing on you now a little bit because you hear me talk about like it's not bad. You know, I mean, for me, honestly, I just really don't like black interiors like that. I think black is just bland when it comes to interiors.
I like black.
It's a safe choice, but not the best choice in my opinion. You can't go wrong with black. Because there's cars right here, boy. Are you wild? And this isn't my car?
Boy, can't you see that nice handicapped lady that was trying to cross the street? That's why I say, why don't you just go? Damn. Yeah, made you look bad now.
My fault. There was no handicapped person, by the way.
Well,
shut up, don't be.
She was like,
I was not in her way anyway. I apologize. I apologize. If I was not in the way. I was halfway in the.
Go pull that thing right.
Shut up.
Rewind that footage.
I'm sorry. I apologize then.
Nah, dude. I was just playing. I don't know what to say.
You're making me feel
good. But 1 second.
You saw that people was lying to me. I did not hamper the pathway of any person. But again. This is a Porsche Cayenne, people, 2011. There is not many cars SUVs rather, that is in this price range that offers this much. Extremely comfortable ride, get decent horsepower, decent steering feedback, and it's a Porsche. Man, you better check yourself if you're in the market for an SUV and you don't consider this. This is clean. Because I would love to buy this for my mother. I would love to buy this for my parents. I already know when I make it, I'm gonna get something like this for my mom, and I already know what I have in mind for my dad. Probably like an E46 M3. Not too much, you know. My dad's a little bit more of the he wants a driver's car. He doesn't really care for the new cars, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All in due time. But again, this is your boy Jeameave. It's Views from the Heart. It's your boy Robert sitting on the shotgun. This vehicle is available at Carlux. Thank you, Carlux, so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
And you know, like I said, it's I give this car 2 thumbs up. I really enjoy it. There are some things that I don't like I said, the transmission, the small sunroof, but other than that, no car is perfect. But this is one of the best models I've had the pleasure to review, to be quite honest. It's really a good all-around SUV. I mean, obviously it's not a sports car, but when you think about it from an SUV standpoint, there's not many SUVs that can compete with this, in all honesty. So with that said, it's your boy Jeameave. This is Views from the Heart. Thank you so much, the viewers. Again, Carlux, Sonny, Robert, shout out to you guys. And you, the viewers, you guys have a blessed day. And I'm out.